All right, we are live. Let's give a couple more minutes for people to join in.
Hey, hi everyone.
Hello there, Shubham. Welcome to the session as well. While we wait for a couple more folks to join in, let's quickly introduce ourselves. While we'll be covering that in a bit more detail for Shubham a bit later in the session, let me start with my own self. Hi everyone, I'm Sumant Malhotra. I am Calcutta alumnus, and I've been working as a product manager for about 7 years now. Been into the industry of tech, advertising. I've worked a bit into investment banking as well during the early half of my career. And overall, my career has given me a lot of insights around how hard it can be to navigate through it, and why there is always a need for a bit of guidance, bit of mentorship, which can help you navigate those choppy waters. And that's perhaps one of the biggest reasons I'm a career coach as well. In the last 4 years, especially during the time of COVID, I actually picked up the mantle of a career coach, and I've been doing that since then. During that period itself, Shubham, who was actually a college mate of mine, he had already started an initiative of his own, and that's how we crossed paths on this initiative and have been connected since then. In the meantime, let me start sharing my screen so that we start talking about this session in a bit more detail. 1 second. Guys, feel free to share your questions. All right. We have a team which is going to be answering your questions. So just feel free to put them on the comment section of this video, and they'll be happy to answer them. All right.
Great. By the way, can I just see who all are here? People, if you're able to hear us, can you just comment hi so that we know who all are here? We'll have Prashant from our Prepzone team who will be taking care of all the questions in the comment section. Meanwhile, if you can just say hi by the time we are starting the session. Okay, I see Mohit. Hey Mohit, hi. Hello Suyash. Hey Ankit, hi Ravi. Hello Avishi. Great. Hey Gautam, hi. To see you. Hi Atharv. So I can see some of the students are from MBA, Blackie colleges who are our last year students. I can see some last to last year students as well. Hi Vikalp. Hey Pranav. Hello. Some of these are the GDPS students awaiting results. A few of them have already converted colleges.
Nice.
Great. A couple of people are from engineering background. Good to see a diverse pool of people. Amazing. So by the time we are starting the session, guys, can you just comment what is your expectation out of the session? What do you think we would be answering in the next 30, 40 minutes? Or any particular question that you want us to focus on? Hey, Neeraj. Hello, Surya. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi, everyone. Great.
All right. So the clock's about to hit 8:10, and I think we have a few folks online as well. They're all waiting. Shubham, what say? Let's begin.
Yeah, let's begin.
Alrighty. So, guys, welcome to the session. Both Shubham and I are going to be taking you guys through our career booster program. That's basically part of our initiative of Prepzone. And in this session particularly, we're going to talk a little bit about how can you crack your dream interviews. Essentially, all of us, we live a life where we have a dream, right? There is an objective that we want to achieve. And to achieve that, there are a few, you can say, hoops that we have to jump through, right? You can call that education, post graduation, and then jobs and all that in order to achieve that objective. Now, some of us, well, most of us, actually have an objective in mind. That's our dream, the ideal objective, right? And to achieve that, there's a set of instructions, set of mentorship, you can say set of guidance that's needed, right? Uh, Prep Zone actually is one of those platforms, one of those teams that is actually going to help you in getting exactly that, right? And in the coming few minutes, that's exactly the part we are trying to tell you, right? How exactly that's going to happen, which all fields we are going to cover, and how you guys can enroll, that's going to be a part of this session, right? Feel free to drop in your questions in comments. Moving forward, let's quickly talk a little bit about what this session is going to entail. I'll start with a quick story of my own, and let me see if that resonates with a few of you as well. Uh, when I actually graduated in my engineering, I had a very simple path in front of me, like a typical engineering grad. Take up a job from campus placements and continue working in that line. You may or may not even try to go for a post graduation because let's face it, if you're getting paid fine, what's the problem? Why do you need to look forward, right? But then what I saw was that even though I was working very hard and I was performing almost at par with the other colleagues of mine, which were all MBAs in an investment bank, I realized I was getting paid one third the salary, right? So there was a pretty obvious need for me to kind of buck up and get to the next level. Now, to do that, MBA was an option. I could have also gone for other degrees. Out of this, MBA was something which I personally felt was the right decision for me, the kind of skill set I had, the kind of career I wanted to grow. But the problem, I had no clue how exactly to go forward with it. I had given CAT as an attempt, and I realized it wasn't really going to work out, right? Until and unless I took the right guidance, which I eventually did, and that's how I was able to crack CAT, right? Something similar also happened to you also, Shivam. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll at least share my story. Uh, Before MBA, I was working as a tech guy, similar to what Sumant was doing. I but I was being paid well, so I had a decent salary. But then I think I was not really liking the work that I was doing. That wasn't really making a lot of sense to me. So that was a kick. But then I didn't really know whether it's going to be an MBA or MS or MTech. So I honestly put my hands in like all the buckets, and I had certain criterias in mind that okay, if it's going to be MBA, it has to be ABC. If it's going to be MS, it has to be those 4 or 5 US based colleges. And finally, I somehow chose MBA. But then after CAD, after converting the GDPI, I didn't had any clue on what this entire 2 years of MBA journey is going to be, at least for me. But I knew for a fact that I have a huge inclination towards maths, and that's what actually like really pushed me towards writing CAD and performing good there. So and I had this maybe persona that okay, if I'm good in maths, I'll probably be good with finance, because I just heard from some of the seniors that finance is all about numbers. You do valuation, you do balance sheet. So people who are good with numbers, they tend to be good in finance. So I just had this idea, and with this idea, I just went to IIM Calcutta, prepared for my first 4 months only in the field of finance. I had zero background of finance, but I just worked towards finance by doing those books of Damodran, where I used to do valuation exercise, those Hull books where we used to learn about stock market. It was a bouncer in the beginning, but I really spent a lot of my time in just trying to understand what is this all about. somehow I felt that okay, I'm closer to it, only to realize that I did not get any shortlist. So, so yeah, that was my journey. I thought maths would be related to finance, and I should be able to get a shortlist because my CV was all about maths and all. But then, unfortunately, I didn't. And that was the thought that I had when we were starting this entire initiative, that it is very important for any individual to know which program suits him the best. What you think fits in for you might not be the best program for you, right? So that is one major agenda that we would like to cover as a part of this session and as a part of this program. Yeah.
So let's quickly move forward and talk about who all should be interested in this kind of a session, right? Very obvious ones would be the MBA students who are about to join a B school, right? They would definitely gain a lot from this one. Another group that would benefit a lot would be MBA alumni, right? People who have done that degree and now they're looking to switch career domain or join some of their dream company. Let's say a student is, or rather, a MBA is looking to join Google or some other big bank, right? They're looking forward to guidance on how to make that switch. Here, I've been working in marketing. Suddenly, how do I move into consulting or banking, etc. Right? For them, we have something as well. Similarly, existing MBA students who are already in college but who want to get an edge in this year's campus placements. This I cannot emphasize enough. A lot of times, what happens is that we all are very dependent on the college's prep. ये ठीक है, these people will take care of us. What happens is, no judgments to anyone, but there's a lot of haphazard process that goes on in a B school. Trust me, we know. And what happens is, in all that hustle, the nitty gritties, the fundamentals, sometimes they get left back, right? It turns into a very ugly scene when those fundamentals they get exposed during an interview. That's the part we want to avoid. Okay, so those people will also benefit from this session. And finally, those people who haven't really done an MBA may not even be looking for it, but they still want to build their careers into these particular fields of finance or consulting or product management. All three fields which pay very well are quite reputed, and let's face it, are dream offers to get if one can, right? So all of them can also get a lot from this session. So if that applies to you, you are at the right place, right? Even if that doesn't directly apply to you, watching this session is going to help you gain some understanding about these fields, what we can bring to the table, and might just change your mind to look into this a bit more deeper. All right, moving forward, let's meet the founder a little bit in detail. It's Shubham. He's an IIT IIM alumnus, and he founded Prepzone back in 2018. He started only helping out students on ZAT and GDPR to begin with. He had actually taught at some leading coaching institutes himself as a coach. But then what he realized was that's not sufficient. He's not really using his own skills to the fullest potential. He realized there is a need for personalized attention, and that's where he started creating a plan for a personalized mentorship. Okay, he created advanced workshops where he would focus on each student personally. He would take online classes, and then he gradually kind of built a small team to help him scale this project, right? That was then, and now in 2023 we have a team of 40 plus IIM mentors. IIM mentors, all these are from reputed IIMs, and we have been helping more than 10,000 students over the years, right? And this year, what we have for you guys is an advanced deep dive on top of what we have been on, right? We're calling it the Career Booster Plan, and we're going to talk about that in a bit more detail going forward, right? This plan and our vision about it is something like this: that the aspirant will probably be convinced by our pitch, and they will decide to join us for their prep, right? Then we will help them fast track their prep so that they prep for CAT or one-on-one interviews, GDPIs, mocks, any kind of guidance around how to proceed, which companies to choose, what would be a good switch, etc., is taken care of by us. The student really fast tracks their preparation, and with the kind of fun and engaging mentorship and the personalized attention that we give, that student prepares really well and gets selected for MBA or into their interviews into another career switch, etc. Right? And finally, this mentorship just keeps rolling on. It's not like you're done after this particular thing. We have a roll-on effect on your career, and you will always have that contact with us, which will help you in making you achieve a lot of milestone even going forward in the future. All right. So, how many of you have already thought of some dream companies? Can you put them in the comments? I would really love to know if you guys already have something in your mind. Okay, feel free to put in your comments or if there are any questions still on. Okay. Now, if you have a particular dream company, if you already have an objective in mind, right? How do you make a plan for it? How do you reach that point? That's where the biggest obstacle is, isn't it? Most of us, we know where to reach or where we want to reach, but how to reach there, that kind of guidance is just not available so readily, isn't it? That's why we pay sometimes lakhs of rupees to coachings, to tutors, etc. And somehow we are always left asking for more, right? So, what if there was a plan which could take a 360-degree approach to making us realize that potential of ours and achieving what we wanted, right? So, on that note, let me pass the patent to Shubham and let him share a story which will kind of talk about the same thing. All right, Shubham, over to you.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Sumant. Fair. So I think let's start with a story. It's a weekend, and I'm sure you all must have had a very heavy day, so to say, right? So and it might be possible that some of you might have already heard this story from me in the past, but yeah, let's see. So the story goes something like this: there's a very giant ship sailing in, say, Indian Ocean, right? But somehow what happened is the engine of this ship has failed, right? Then yeah, so on to the next slide. Sure. And the owner of the ship, right? He calls all the engineers in the ship sitting, and they all try to fix that particular engine. Somehow, none of them were able to succeed in this particular case. None of them, they really scratched their head, but none of them were really able to do it. Then some of them told us that okay, there's an old man who is there as a passenger, but he has been doing the same thing. He is a poor man, but then he has been doing the same thing since the last 30 years. So he's like very experienced, may not be very professional, but he knows what he needs to do. So they started reaching out to this particular old man. This particular old man had uh, a suitcase with him, which he always carries, which has tools into it, right? So this particular old man, he picked up from his seat, he carried his suitcase and directly approached the ship where that particular engine was blocked, which was not working, right? Without wasting any time, he started inspecting every single places of that engine. He started browsing from top to down, bottom to top, everything left and right about that particular engine, and that okay, what is really going wrong. Then what he did was, while he was doing it, it was the owner who was trying to make fun of it. That okay, like the entire crew was not able to fix this particular engine. How can he? But let's see. And he was actually hoping in the inside that okay, he must be able to do it. Now, what this particular old man does is he just opened his toolbox. He took out a piece of hammer, right? And then he started uh, like uh, really tapping onto a particular screw that was coming out. That's what he did. And wow, what happened next? The engine started working. That's what actually happened. So then next thing is he just put his particular hammer away. He was cool. He just went to his seat. He took out a check and then he just gave the bill to the owner. Now, what do you think that bill would look like? The bill looked like rupees 10,000, not rupees, but $10,000. And the owner was like this when he saw that okay, this guy just put a hammer and is giving me a check of $10,000, right? And owner, of course, like anyone else would do, he started arguing that okay, you just give me what 2 3 minutes, you just put your hammer and did nothing else. For what are you charging $10,000? To what this gentleman explained that okay, I can give you a breakup. So out of this 10,000, I just have $2 as my labor cost, but the remaining $9,998 is about knowing where exactly to tap, right? So, moral of the story is, I'm sure all of you who are attending this session, we all have worked hard. So effort is something that every aspirant puts in. But knowing where exactly to put in that effort is really makes one stand out against others. You all have done it, you all have realized it in your CAT preparation, GDPI preparation, right? But this is something that we have to continue in our entire life. With this, move on to the career booster workshop, and I'm very happy to and and very delighted to share that okay, we are starting this particular workshop from 1st of May onwards. The workshop would pan over a period of 1.5 to 2 months. In total, it will have around 30 hours of sessions. Sessions would be detailed, very comprehensive. These sessions are more than enough to go and convert any league of companies into finance, consulting, and product management. Okay, that's not all. The it will definitely cover the sessions which will have detailed information and practical cases on how do you do it step by step. Along with that, it will also have the CV making because it's very important for any aspirant to also get shortlisted. All of these knowledge comes into picture only once you have a shortlist in your place. But to be able to get a shortlist, you need to have your CV in that place, right? So hence, we'll have a one-on-one mentor who will help you draft your particular CV, refine it, and make it to a shape which is really acceptable by the HR recruiters of different companies, right? And when we talk about these one-on-one mentorship, it is going to be exactly one-on-one. The mentor would deep dive, will discuss cases with you. You guys will be solving cases, guesstimate rounds, and different kinds of puzzles onto the phone calls or Zoom call, right? And at the end, you'll also have a mock interview for your dream company that you're trying to chase with your respective mentor. Okay, so this is that five-step process that we are following as a part of this entire career booster workshop. Yeah, Sumant. And we'll talk about the individual product management, finance, and consulting subsequently. But yeah, this is the overview that you can expect as a part of this 2 months course. Okay, and the packages that we have is ideally we have so Sumant himself has taught in a leading uh, coaching which actually helps students build their entire career, and the charges for similar deep dive programs is nowhere less than 25-30,000 for a month. But we wanted to start with this pricing so that all of you can come experience the sort of mentorship, sort of content that you get as a part of this workshop, right? So we have four variants this time. First is if you know that okay, I want to make a career into consulting and you only want access to the session, no one mentorship, no deep dives, you can avail it either from product management to finance to a consulting, and this costs you 1,500 bucks. That's all for these detailed workshops. You will have access to it. Second is if you want sessions of all the domains because you're not sure which stream would you like to go into, you want to understand each of these streams in depth before making that judgment call that okay, this is that stream that suits in my profile as well, so you can do that as well for rupees 3,000. Third is our premium, where you know where you want to get into and you have a clear vision कि यार मुझे तो product management में ही जाना है, that's it. My profile is like this and I'm sure I would bag a shortlist from some good PM companies. But you want to make sure that you also convert the interview. So you want to start getting deep dive into a particular domain, right? And this deep dive will be like you'll have a one-on-one mentor who is an industry expert from the world of product management. He will directly discuss after these sessions with you different sort of cases that you would come across. So the idea is that even before appearing for an actual interview with your dream companies, you get acclimatized to these sort of interviews with the one-on-one mentor. Okay, and the gold package, that's our recommended packages. You don't know where exactly you want to go get into. You want to get a hang of these one-on-one deep dives as well as sessions of all the three streams. Okay, and CV reviews is something that is a bonus that is complementary with our deep dive session. So whether you take a product management, whether you take our economy package, which uh, essentially, I think there is a slight mistake in this slide. The CV review will be in the last two packages, premium and gold, which includes the deep dives. It is not into the session wala part. Okay. And all of these details are there on the website. You can directly go to our website, myprepzone.com, go to the courses section. You can see all of these 6, 7, 8 variants there. You just have to register there and then ping us on this particular number. That's a personal number. You can directly reach out to us for any level uh, of particular inquiries, or if you want to discuss which program would suit in best for you, you can just ping us.
All
Okay.
right. So let's jump into the product management structure. This slide will essentially help you, kind of understand what all are you looking at when you jump into the product management sessions, and then what extra are you going to get with deep dives, right? First and foremost, to understand product management, you need to first know what product management actually is, what kind of a job it is, what are the roles and responsibilities associated to it, and trust me, a lot of people, even after working in product management for a couple of years, they still don't understand this. So when I tell you that this is an important piece, trust me, it is a very important piece. Okay. Once we build that understanding, then comes the second part, which is what kind of technical skills and soft skills are required and how to acquire these. So over the period of time, what I've realized is the most common question I get as a career coach, especially for product management, is from people coming from non-technical fields and asking us, "Sir, बनूं product manager क्या फायदा भी नहीं है? Is it even possible? I might not have technical background, so maybe I'm not suited for being a product manager, right?" ये बहुत आता है, मतलब almost every second, coaching interview that I take, same question, right? This kind of a session where I actually give that clarity कि देखो इतनी technical skills चाहिए, and after this you learn it on the job, or you don't even require it, you have people who can help you, right? That kind of clarity we can bring. Okay, same goes for soft skills, because सिर्फ technical skills होने से भी काम नहीं चलता. You have to have some sort of soft skills on collaboration, coordination between people, a lot of diplomacy, lot of future forecasting कि अच्छा ठीक है ऐसा करूँगा तो ये होगा या ये हो सकता है, etc etc, right? So we'll kind of help you in building that kind of a thought process as well, right? Then comes the interview preparation. This is where most of us actually are bewildered. Here, यार तीन चार चार round होते हैं interviews के for product management. I don't know what kind of questions are going to be asked and how to prepare for it. Sure, there are resources out there like books, Exponent channel, etc. But there is no proper structuring, right? One channel will talk about only one type of questions. One book will talk about only one type of questions. But who is kind of mixing it all together and telling you that this is the structure in which the interviews are going to be taken. This is the first round question, this is the second round question, this is how you prepare, right? That we are going to do because we have done it ourselves. Okay, so the interview prep will take you through how to have the first principle thought process, and then how to structure them together, right? It shouldn't be that you just follow one train of thought and go into it, and after a while you realize, yeah, ये तो गलत था. I lost a thought somewhere. I should have started from there. So that kind of a blunder will tell you how to avoid that. Okay, we'll learn how to do guesstimates properly, right? We learn how to do RC exercises, such as let's say you are the PM of one company and you can see that view rate has gone down. What do you do? How do you figure it out? Those kind of questions. Defining metrics about launching a new feature and how do you find out whether this feature worked or not. That new product launch, how do you take it to the market, how do you price it, how do you structure this whole process, and then a bonus, completely random questions like something like work from home is the new norm of the day. How do you solve the problem of people not coming to office? Totally out of the box question, right? How do you solve it as a PM? Yeah, that kind of questions we'll also try and solve. Okay. Then comes the hygiene stuff, such as how to build PRDs, how to use Figma for that, and create kind of small designs, high level. Other commonly tools used by PMs like Asana or Trello, etc. for project management. We'll talk about those as well, and maybe show a few demos. Right now, when you try and go deep dive into it, other things that we'll also show you is we'll give you a proper demo with assignment so that you prepare it yourself, and then we check it and tell you, okay, you could have done this better. Product case tear down, such as we take a product which is actually in the market, and then we, along with you, analyze it and make you write what is good about it, what is bad about it, how you can improve it, etc., etc. Okay, this includes market analysis and a lot of detailed work into each and every particular feature. So it's a very very important thing, right? You would have seen this. People do it on LinkedIn all the time. They post it. Then complete hand holding throughout this so that you don't feel flabbergasted. अरे यार इतना सारा है, I don't even know how to proceed. You're gonna be there at every step, so you wouldn't really feel that कि यार मुझे आता नहीं. What we will expect though is a lot of effort. Okay, चलिए moving forward, consulting structure. Shubham, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So Again, this will be divided into two parts. First would be the sessions where we'll start with, okay, what is consulting? Because there would be people who have absolutely no clue about consulting. They believe consulting is all about traveling, staying in a five-star, and having those formal suits and just carrying, like, carrying a particular briefcase with you. But that's not the reality. How, no matter how it really looks like. So we would start with a brief session on what consulting is all about, what all companies you can really target, what companies actually really look up to. For having a shortlist into consulting, you need to have a three spike in your CV. What is that three spike? Do you really have it or not? So all of those discussions on whether consulting fits in for you or not, all of that would be discussed in the first session. And once we have that, then we'll directly, without going a lot into theory part, we'll directly jump onto the practical aspect of how do you crack consulting and interviews, right? Which will involve first, of course, guesstimates. There could be any number of guesstimates, right? So it has a number of guesstimates. We'll try to start with the frameworks that you use because people do guesstimates correctly, but then their way of approaching. So, like, consulting is like all about problem solving. It is all about how well do you structure your entire thoughts, right? So, hence that framework will be there as a part of the guesstimate. Then the best thing is, like, like cases. There are 6 to 7 types of cases. People think that okay, there are only 2 3 variants of cases, but when you go into an interview with companies in the likes of McKinsey, BCG, ED, Kearney, there are 7 to 8 levels of interviews. There are 5 to 6 levels of rounds. So we'll discuss about all of it because the mentor speaking in these sessions will be somewhere from McKinsey or BCG, right? He'll be the one who will be directly taking these sessions for you. Okay. Then after doing say profitability sort of cases, we'll talk about cases which is about market entry, that okay, there's a new company, that company wants to enter into say EV space. Whether should they do it right now, or should they do it in 5 years, right? And if they want to do it, do they want to do it in an organic way, or by M&A, or by joint venture with some other existing companies? So all of those strategy level questions that are asked in your consulting interviews will be taken care of here, right? Other type of questions that typically come in a consulting interview is your revenue is say $2.5 million right now. You have to have a strategy to increase from $2.5 million to say $10 million in a span of next 4 years. So these growth level of questions is also very common uh, in consulting, right? Because as a consultant, you have to give growth advice to your clients, and we'll cover all of those frameworks that you have to have as a part of the growth type of cases. And as we all know, like making PPTs is what consultants are really known for. So we'll also help you here on how do you make PPTs, what all tools can you use to make your PPTs really fancy, how do you club and integrate those external tools into your PPT, right? So all of those PPT, Excel related things will be taken care of here, along with the industry knowledge, because consultants are known for working cross industries, right? So you have to have a good knowledge about the different kind of industries so that if your client changes, you stay calm and you are able to solve cases. So all of that will be taken care of as a part of the session. Then deep dives would be about case discussions that we discussed in above. So after these sessions, we'll give you time to go through it, and then we'll have one-on-one mock interviews around these, or one-on-one case discussions. Of course, after case discussions, guesstimates would be there, and then we'll really help you with your consulting decks. How do you make PPTs? If there's a case, how do you make it? And we'll help you analyze and read it. So all of these will be covered as a part of the consulting workshops. Fair. After consulting, the third one is the finance. In finance, we'll start with valuation, because 50 60% of the companies in their mock interview, they talk about the valuation exercises. It's not just the companies, but also different cases that you do, right? So I remember someone told JP Morgan is their dream company, right, which is an investment banking division. So companies do ask you about different kinds of valuation, valuing a startup. And when we talk about valuation in GDPI, it is more about theory that, okay, these are the methods. But how do you do it in Excel? How do you derive a framework and do it in your Excel sheet is what you are expected to do as a finance guy, right? So once you have done the valuation, then how do you deep dive into it? That okay, how does it look to you? How do you interpret these different valuations? What are the different instruments like alpha and beta into it? So all of those finance related jargons, finance related concepts will be taken care of as a part of it, right? That will be quantitative part of essentially valuing a company. then there'll be a qualitative part into it, right? That okay, how is this company doing? Just by reading the newsletter, just by reading the balance sheet, how do you think it is doing? Right? So all of those aspects will also be taken care of as a part of the session. Then after valuation, we'll go into the stock market that, okay, what do you think will be the price of, say, HUL 5 years down the line? And how do you plot those graphs and actually come up with your price with some like tolerance level that okay the price range could be x to say y rupees in next 3 4 years, right? So all of those type of questions are like very common in finance cases and in finance interviews. Okay. So once all of this is done, then of course CV, like how do you make your CV based on the finance? Because consulting companies look for three spikes, finance companies look for something else, product management companies look for something else, right? So based on where exactly are you targeting, you have to make your own version of CVs. So that will be taken care of. Companies you need to target, fundamentals about accounting, basic corporate finance, basic derivatives, all of these concepts will be covered as a part of the sessions that we do in the finance. Okay. And when we talk about the one-on-one mentorship, one-on-one deep dives into finance, these will again have exercises and assignments given to you where you would be solving it. Because one thing is we solving it, we telling you that okay, this is how you solve it, and there's another game when you actually do it by yourself after watching these videos, and you like come back to us that okay, this is how I have solved it. Is there any scope of improvement? That's where the actual learning start happening, right? Hence, these deep dive programs is where we would start doing all of it as a part of one-on-one mentorship. So whatever important concepts that we have discussed earlier, we'll do it in the form of mock interviews with your personal mentor that we assign. Fair. Next.
Alrighty.
Great, guys. So I think that covers. We wanted to keep this session short, 30 minutes, and we have done that. Now we are open to take any kind of question, no matter you are an MBA or you're not. Any question that is concerning you with respect to what you want to do to make your CV spike up. It's a macroeconomic situation. People are getting laid off if they don't really have the skill. Hence, it becomes very, very essential for you guys to have a skill in your plate so that you stay recruitable, right? So yeah, open to take any questions right now. I see Mohit has asked how many mock interviews will we get. That is already answered by Prashant. Atharv, okay. The budget, Nestle is my dream company, already taken care of. Okay, fair. Any other questions? Be it as random as you want. By the way, this program will start right from 1st of May. So after a week, there are students who would be expecting calls. I would still suggest you guys to sign up for it because it's going to be a hectic thing. We have 1.5 months and we want to cover 2 years of MBA core practical knowledge into it, right? So you don't want to miss out anything. Hence, don't plan any trips or something if you want to really extract value out of it, right? Great. Any
Shubham,
questions? Does it make sense to you?
Shubham, let's actually give them some clarity about the GDPI thing also. Let's say, I'm a student who's preparing for my final placement or intern placement, right? And what I'm particularly looking for is not really prep on interviews, but on GDs, right? I'm not so sure about my vocal presence in a GD. In fact, I can continuously see that the reason I'm thrown out of GDs is because I keep quiet a lot or I don't get ideas that fast thinking on my feet. So, is there something that we can help them with on that front?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it will have everything right from your soft skills to your knowledge that you actually need to crack an interview. So everything to anything that you need to be presentable against your dream companies and yeah,
So,
fair.
if I want to get that kind of help, what kind of a session or plan should I choose?
Okay, so if you have a clear idea, Sumant, on what stream do you want to get into, right? If you have a clear idea that, okay, I am into marketing, I know for a fact that I would get a shortlist from marketing, say not marketing, but say finance, and you just want to get all the skills right from the soft skills to hard skills that are required to crack or as a finance interview, be it corporate finance, be it stock market related, or be it investment banking related, right? You need to choose the stream specific deep dive program. right? But deep dives is what would really give you actual learning. Sessions mate will just be around like one to many sort of sessions, but those one-on-one mentorship is what will really make a lot of difference.
Correct.
And while there are players available in the market, all of them are only doing the session part right now. And what really makes us stand out is these deep dives, where there'll be one mentor and one student, not one to many. This will be one on one. You'll discuss on call, fixate a time, and we'll take things forward from there. So if you know where you want to get into for sure, go for stream specific deep dives. If you think you have even 10% tolerance level, you might as well get other shortlist, take or domains deep dives.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So Bipin asked, sir, guide us about how to utilize the next couple of months before joining IIMs. Should we do courses? Should we do any sort of certifications? How should we use the next couple of months?
Cool. I can take that up. So, see, if I were you, what I would have done is first thing is the CV, because once you get into a B school, trust me, you don't get enough time to make your CV, and all you would be pushed into is there are classes attend karo, assignments karo. There would be case competitions that will start coming in within a span of 1 2 months. There would be different clubs that would start approaching you. Kya हमारे club में आ जाओ. Then you would want all of those as a part of a CV point. So there'll be n number of things that will be happening into a B school. And the most important would be CV, but the least time that you would be spending would be on making your CV, which is really something that would bag your shortlist. So in the next 2 months, first thing is I would expect all the aspirants to have their CVs in shape before they go into an MBA. At least 60 70% in shape. 20 30% might change on basis your interest if it sort of changes from A domain to B domain, right? But CV is something, and second is getting those basic understanding, knowing that okay, these are the 3 4 things that I need to do. Because while it feels, while it yeah so like while it feels that MBA would help me with my placement, trust me, there's no B school which helps you with your placement. Placement is a student driven activity. There are place reps that are nominated from the student body. They go and consult the companies, they take the companies, and you have to prepare on your own. MBA curriculum will help you sharpen your 360-degree knowledge in terms of case preps and all, but there won't be any specific subject of say product management. At least it was not there in IIM Calcutta. I wanted to get into product management, but there was no subject in 2 years that was directly related with product management,
Same.
right? So hence these things you'll have to do it yourself. If you have to do it, why to waste the next 2 months? Start doing it right now.
Just to add to what Shubham said, very important to get your CV fundamentals right. देखो, as a recruiter myself, I can tell you, I don't look at a new CV for more than 7 seconds, and that's the average. ठीक है? There are recruiters who don't even look at for 3 seconds. They just see यहाँ ऊपर से 3 4 grades अच्छे दिख रहे हैं, नहीं दिख रहे चलो खराब, right? But that's a problem. They have way too many CVs to look through. Okay. Now, what you would want is to prepare a CV which really attracts or rather grabs the attention of the person looking at it. And there are some tips and tricks for it, right? जब तक आपको वो नहीं पता होते, you kind of lose that edge to others who know that. And a lot of students in premium MBA colleges, they know those tricks. How do they know those tricks? Either from their seniors or from courses like ours, right? That's where they get that edge over the others. And that's why we are suggesting that in the meantime that you have before joining an MBA, get those fundamentals sorted. उससे क्या होगा? You will be able to save a lot of time, precious moments which you can spend studying or getting CV points or doing case studies and actually earning CV points and money, right? Then spending a lot of time going back and forth with PlaceCom about यार ये CV point सही तो है या फिर ये structure सही क्यों नहीं है या फिर इसका proof नहीं है तो क्या हुआ मैंने किया तो है ना मेरी शक्ल देख लो and all that, right? So avoid all that. Get those fundamentals sorted in this meantime. Have an edge over the others and live a smooth life in the MBA college. Make sense?
Great.
Yeah.
Next, Athar has asked a question: are the GDPA mentors and career booster mentors same, or new mentors have been hired?
We have new folks.
Okay. So it's going to be a mixed. You can expect 70 75% mentors to be new, because this course would be majorly driven by people who are there in the industry, right? So for example, Sumant, you haven't met Sumant in your GDPI, right? But he's here with us who will be driving product management per se, right? So 80% would be different, 20% you can expect it to be same. Okay. Lectures will be on weekends only. Yeah, it will be a mixed. Majority of it would be on the weekends where we'll do live Q&A, where we'll discuss all of your doubts. Your one-on-one mentors will assign you after you watch all of those sessions, right? So first part of it would be watching the sessions, then we'll do a Q&A to take up any questions from these sessions, and third part would be, say, one-on-one mentorship. Okay. Vajid says, my CV is fairly basic. No sports, academics, excellent work ex. So should I even think of getting into consulting? Vajid, unless we know about your profile, unless we know about CV, it's very hard to comment on it. CV में there, I'm sure like every person's CV would have at least some spike. It could be into academics, it could be into non-academics. So that is what this course or this one-on-one mentorship will actually guide you about that. Okay, basis your CV, which domain really suits you the best. Okay.
Just to add to what Shubham said, Vajit, so yeah, your CV in the current shape might not be looking that great and attractive, right? However, this is a very common case in MBA colleges. Okay, and what guidance helps is we actually tell कि अच्छा ठीक है, this is a gap, this is what you do to fill that gap. ठीक है, अभी story खत्म थोड़ी ना हुई है. You can still fill those gaps. You are in an MBA college. You can fill those gaps by getting CV points of particular things. We can tell you अच्छा ठीक है, आप ये join कर लो, आप ये case studies win करके आओ, आप अपने CV के अंदर ये POR डालो, right? Structure it this way, right? We'll tell you all the reasonings that you can give for a particular gap as well. इस तरह से you can navigate through it. समझ रहे हो? तो ऐसा नहीं है कि स्टोरी खत्म ही हो गई कि हाँ मेरे पास आई डोंट हैव एनीथिंग शुड आई इवन थिंक अबाउट इट. I will quote an example of a very close friend of mine from IIM Calcutta. Okay, he had an operations experience. वो oil factory में काम करता था. IIM Calcutta, right? Works for KPMG, right? ठीक है? Just saying.
Okay.
Divyajyoti asks, sir, I want to know, like, you all are helping us. How did you all manage? How did we manage? Well, we managed okay, I guess. We were just lucky to get the right kind of guidance at the right time. Where we all face some really tough challenges in our career as well. Uh, हमें नहीं आइडिया था ऑनेस्टली जस्ट लाइक शुभम सेड राइट कि प्रोडक्ट मैनेजमेंट का कोई कोर्स तो होता नहीं. The same thing happened with me too. I was like 1 year senior to Shubham, and during my time, obviously there was no guidance on product management. Heck, I didn't even know what product management was. I just went into product management after getting my first offer in sales. How does that happen, right? But I said, नहीं यार कुछ अलग करते हैं. I have a background in tech. Let me use those skills. And the only two offers that made sense in that point of time, the only two roles available to me were either product management or systems management, जिसके दो तीन ही ऑफर आ रहे थे, right? The better paying one was obviously product management. So we just went into it. Then we realized कि इसमें करना क्या पड़ता है. And honestly वो इतना बड़ा शॉक होता है ना. और जो actually realize, पहले तो वो realize करने में 1-1.5 साल लगता है. If you don't get proper guidance, you will never be really able to figure out what exactly is product management, what is my job, what is a project manager, what is a program manager, what is a QA do, how much would I pull the engineering, etc. etc. Okay. So that's why मेरे एजेंडा में सबसे पहला लाइन ये लिखा था कि यार let's understand what product management actually is. Okay, that's how we managed. We made a lot of mistakes and learned from them, and then eventually we got to a point, yeah, nahi yaar, this happened to us. We're not going to let it happen to someone else. That's why we are here. That's why we are doing this session.
Yeah. Plus one to that. Because I started my career with finance. I started preparing from finance, but I interned into a consulting company, and then I finally got into a product management not so good company. But after 2 years of struggle, I finally managed to have my path into a decent PM role. So yeah, wasted 3 years to just figure out where I really wanted to be.
Yashika asks, sir, how to choose between these schools like Excel HRM versus SPJ marketing? I just wanted to get your take. Which one should I choose?
Okay. I think best person for this in India is Prashant sir. Directly ping Prashant sir. He is here. Prashant, if you're here, you can help her out. Or Yashika, you can ping me on WhatsApp. I can connect you with Prashant sir for this particular question. See, there is no better school. There's nothing like he's better than me. It all depends on what your profile is. So unless we know your profile, it's very hard to comment which one would suit you, right? So you can ping Prashant sir for this. Great.
Okay. Alrighty. Sure. I think we are running quite close to the time we thought will be
Yes, yes.
and close it. So, unless there are any final questions, I guess we are good to conclude this session.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. We
Yeah.
can be here for a minute, guys. If there is any more question related to anything in your career, feel free to ask right now.
Yeah. You all are like quite clear on how to register and all, right? So नीचे एक marquee आ रहा होगा so that you all have that data accessible quite easily. Okay, somebody asked, sir, do you also include marketing? Shubham?
Yeah, I can take that up. So while we wanted to start with finance, product management, and consulting, these three streams. We haven't thought of marketing, but there are 8, 10 students who have already reached out to us. Sir, can you please start marketing as all and all or not? We can try to include marketing, but we are not sure as of now. If there are 5 to 10 students who are really interested into the marketing program, we can accommodate that. We have a mentor and all, so that's not an issue. Marketing
Demand
can
and
be
supply,
accommodated.
guys. Yeah. Demand and supply.
Right.
Hmm. ठीक है. Alrighty. Perfecto. So I guess this does it. We had a lot of fun discussing the pointers about the career booster plan with you all. I hope you all found some insights as well as how this plan is going to help you in your careers. And as always, you all are mentors here. Okay. So feel free to reach out to us in case there are any other questions as well. And do drop in comments in case you weren't able to be a part of this session during the video. Okay. And if you're watching this video after the live stream has ended, feel free to again drop in comments. Our team will reach out and answer those questions anyway. As always, feel free to ping us on the number that we have shared. You will get a response to as soon as we can, and mostly that as soon as we can is either minutes, okay, or if we are really into it, maybe even seconds. So try that out. You will see what I mean. Apart from that, in case there are any questions about the curriculum or any particular questions pertaining to particular field, again reach out over the number or on the site, and we'll get back to you on this as well. Right. With that said, I officially conclude. From my side, Shubham, in case you want to add anything.
Yeah. Yeah. One last thing, because of a weekend and last minute plan, I think majority of the students may not be able to attend this lives, guys. Do share it in your friend circle. And I'm sure this is going to benefit a lot of people out there. Okay. So it would be great if you can share this with your friends and spread the love for Prep Zone.
Alrighty, guys. Cheers. Have a great time.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.